First and foremost, I'll start by saying I am not an authority, but instead a testimony. And why am I saying that? When Bros approached me to talk here, I told him, I said, I'm still at the early stages of my career. What am I discussing here? And so we went back and forth. And the more I told him about myself, the more he said, you know what, you have to come and talk. So he said, okay, come up with a topic. I thought hard, thought. I like, okay, no problem. And the topic for today is the diary of the hustle, getting your hands dirty. First and foremost, I'll start by introducing who am I. I'm 26. Contrary to how I look, I finished last year from the University of Benin. I haven't gone for service. But the funny story is, between last year and now, I've consulted for over 5 companies. Marv Energy Integrated Services, they've leased their second filling station. Maggie's Mobile Massage, Niger Cab, which is like an Uber service currently running in Benin. I'm their resident managerial consultant. And it's very funny how my story began. I finished secondary school in 2009. I got kicked out of engineering. I was in engineering before. I wasn't serious. It's not some serious backstory. I was not serious. I didn't attend classes. I was always partying. So when I got kicked out, first and foremost, I knew engineering wasn't for me. But I always had this mindset that in order to start business, you have to study engineering, do one major contract, make 1 million, then from there you get the money to start your business. And so that was the whole essence of me going into engineering. Sadly, the plan didn't work out. So after all that was said and done, there was the option of, do you know what, go back to engineering, serve your probation. For those in Unibe, you know what I'm talking about. Serve your probation or travel to computer science. And at that point, I told myself, you know, anything physics, chemistry, I'm not interested. I don't want to do it. I didn't know what, I knew I like money. I like money right from time. I still like it today. But I knew I wanted to make money the legal way. I have an overactive conscience, so G was never my thing. The idea of duping people, I can't sleep at night. So I was like, do you know what? Let me leave school for a while. And I went to work. So during those 2 years, when I was out of school, that was between 2012 and 2014, I had a surface tank. I did supplies for Presco PLC at down Sapler Road. So when it was time to take jam, I remember there's a very good friend of mine. I called him, I said, bros, I want to write jam. And he was like, what do you want to put? I said, I like business, let me put business. He was like, no, put banking, it's easier to enter. I was like, yeah, I said, okay, no wahala. So I put the banking, scored high on my jam, did well in my post-GME, and I got into banking and finance. And studying banking and finance, taking my managerial courses, small business management, economics, I began to discover one very, very interesting thing. All businesses are the same. They all operate in the same principle: demand, supply, microeconomic variables, macroeconomic variables, government policies and fiscal policies, what have you. And it was then that it began to dawn on me, because like I said, I made mention of something earlier. My idea was go to engineering, which is what the doctor said earlier. The popular mindset was, if you're an engineer, you get a big contract. If you're an architect, you get a big contract. If you are in government, you get a big contract. So my mind was, if I don't do these things, I will not have money to do my business. So when I started studying banking and finance, at that point in time, I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I knew I liked to hustle, so anything that involved making money, I was there. If you say you're selling a car, don't worry, I know a buyer. If you say you're selling women jeans, don't worry, I know a buyer. If you say you're selling human hair, I know a buyer. You know, at least I'll make something on top. So, but as I was going through banking, I began to realize something. That first and foremost, all businesses are the same. They operate with the same principle. And it now went back to, what is my truth? What do I enjoy doing? And I like to write. I like cartoons. At the same time, I like business. And I like money. 3 variables: writing, business, and money. How do they relate? And for a very long time, I was racking my head. And I was like, okay, you know, let me start writing an article. An article a day or an article a week. I started writing. A friend of mine saw my articles, and he was like, guy, this writing might blow you up. And I was like, in Nigeria, okay, no no problem. You want my parents to drive me away from the house. And they were like, it was like very, very serious. See, this writing will blow you up. I said, how many writers have you seen driving a G-Wagon? And it was like, you'll be surprised. I just kept doing it for fun. And at some point, initially I was writing about everything. And at some point I was like, you know what, let me write about business. I enjoy business, I enjoy writing, I enjoy talking. Why don't I just merge it together and start talking about businesses? And that now brings us to the topic or the reason why I'm here, which is regardless of how unconventional your talent is, it will pay you. That is why I'm here. That's why I decided to share my story. Regardless of how unconventional, go to YouTube and you discover that some of the most richest people on YouTube, I'm talking about 6 figures in dollars, they post the most irregular and what you think doesn't make sense. So my story for each and every one of you here is that regardless of what you do, it mustn't be, a lot of times we like to follow the safe path and it's like, I've not seen anybody making money through this. Let me not do this. Let me do what everybody is doing. Let me become an engineer. Let me become a doctor. Okay, now everybody now is, there was a time everybody was a blogger. At some point, everybody was a vlogger. At some point, everybody was a makeup artist. No disrespect to makeup artists in the building. Now everybody sells hair. If you go to Instagram, you see they are dragging your clothes. You understand? Everybody's selling hair. Buy human, but at the end of the day, every human being is unique. There's something that is unique to you. There's something that is unique to your abilities. And back to my story, I started writing, and one day somebody said, can you write a business plan? And I'm like, yeah, sure. How much would you charge me? I undercharged that day anyway. And I wrote it. And I discovered that it was fun. Now, for those of you that are in 300 level that have done CED, business plan is not fun. No, it's not fun. It's very, very boring. You understand? But I enjoy it. I can talk about business from now to tomorrow. And after writing the business plan, I sent it to the person, and the friend of mine said, they're like, I said, it makes sense. Okay, why don't you go on Instagram? I have an Instagram page at Mr. EJALE. He said, why don't you go on Instagram? Be posting this stuff on Instagram. I'm like, okay, no problem, let me do it. And I started posting every week. I post an article, I went into vlogging, I talk about businesses, and from there somebody met me up and said, okay, I have XYZ on my business, help me. And I'm like, okay, no problem. I did that. How much do you want me to pay you? I'm like, okay. The G-Wagon, I can see the G-Wagon in the horizon. And I did that. And little by little, a friend told a friend, another friend told another friend, and at some point, other than writing business plans, of course, as a hustler I was like, you know what? I can stay on board your company and you give me X amount of money, and at every point in time, I'll be at your beck and call. Kind of like a subscription service, but this time you're being subscribed to a consultant. I was like, okay, that makes sense. And I'm on their payroll, but I don't go to the office. So when I did that, I discovered that, and I started doing research, and I discovered that what I thought was what I thought was irrelevant. What I thought was just writing now, it's just articles, was beginning to pay my bills. And I earn well above minimum wage. Well above minimum wage on a monthly basis from what I do. So in order for this point to drive home, I'm going to relate to you a story. How many of us remember the story of the parable of the talent? Some were given 3, some were given 2, the other was given 1. The funny thing is that a lot of us will say, that one servant was stupid, that one servant didn't know what he was doing. But many of us are like that servant that was given 1. Because something is so common to you, it no longer looks unique. It's like, they say you can say, hey, just singing now. Or you can dance, it's just dancing now. My message for you today is that it is not just dancing, it is not just singing, it's not just talking, it's not just whatever it is that is unique to you. Anything worth doing is worth being paid for. Because like I said, altruism is good, but I like money. That is why I'm here. That's why it brought me here to come and talk to you. Because I believe in commercializing your ideas. Everything has an income stream. If you think I'm lying, call the most unconventional thing you can think of, and I'll tell you how to make money from it. Serious, to the floor. The most unconventional thing you can think of, and I'll tell you how to make money from it. Everything can get you paid. And that was initially what I wanted to name this topic, but, bro said it might have some negative connotations because you have people doing G and all that, so I was like, no problem. But my point is, anything can make you paid. Don't be like the parable, don't be like that servant with one talent. Your one talent can make you a billionaire. And let me tell you something. There was an advice somebody gave me starting out, and he said, if something can pay you 500 naira, it can pay you 5 million. If you can get paid, regardless of what it is, 500 naira, you can get paid 5 million. Mark my words. And I'll defend this anywhere, anytime. So at the end of the day, I'm going to leave us with a quote. And it was by Ralph Waldo Emerson, the famous writer. And he said, in every work of genius, we recognize our own rejected thoughts that come back to us with a certain alienated majesty. And what this simply means is that a lot of times what we reject and think it will never work is just so common. When somebody else implements it, we begin to look at it and say, wow, I be think of that. A lot of times certain products are launched in the marketplace and you're like, I began this idea that year. I had a friend that had the idea for borrow credit 3 years before borrow credit started. I had a friend that had that idea. And let me give you a backstory. How borrow credit works is that you don't borrow money from MTN. You borrow money from a third party. So you buy 100 naira, you borrow 100 naira from MTN. But what you're borrowing 100 naira from this man at the rate of 80 naira. So he's collecting 20 naira per borrow. So imagine how many people borrow credit every day in Nigeria. And imagine how much those third-party companies make on a daily basis. My friend had the idea. It won't work. And 3 years down the line, they launched it. So at the end of the day, before I leave this stage today, I'm sorry my topic was a little run around, but it's my first time, like I said. It's really important that we understand that everything you have pays. The world is fast changing. The conventional way of thinking is getting outdated. You have machines doing the job of engineers. You have AI doing the job of data analysts and software writers. Nowadays, being a web designer is no longer as profitable because you have platforms like Wix, Blogspot, WordPress, and you build a website in seconds. A lot of things we are doing are becoming outdated. A lot of people will lose their jobs in the next 10 years. If you go online and Google industries that will become outdated in the next 10 years, you'll be very shocked. So what that does, or the question that is begging each and every one of us is, please, 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 rethink where you stand. There's nothing wrong with being an engineer. There's nothing wrong with being a pharmacist. There's nothing wrong with being whatever it is you do. But at the end of the day, bring that you to it. And that you is unique to you because God made you unique. Everybody is unique in their own individual way. No two persons are alike, even twins. Your perceptions, your view, your attitude towards life. So it's important that thing that you find that you do different from everyone else, don't throw it away. What Bros is doing here is a gift. Some people can't plan this. It looks easy, but some people can't. It won't work. They will try, but it won't. After the first month, it will scatter. But he banked on that, and here we are today. And this is just the beginning. He has barely started. I see this turning to the next TED Talk. That same crowd, that same platform, that same popularity, that same brand name and image, that same brand power and equity. So, like I said, I will say it again, I will say it over and over again. Everybody here is an entrepreneur. I heard a couple of makeup artists, I heard a pastry chef. Bring you to the equation. Sell yourself. Sell what you think is irrelevant. Sell your talent. Every talent can be sold. Every talent can be sold. Every talent can be sold. Let that drive home. Let that stick on your mind.